Alrighty, welcome. This is Financial Literacy with TC. I am your host, TC. This is episode 15 of Financial Literacy with TC. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me. There's so many podcasts you could have tuned into, but you chose to tune into mine. So I'm always appreciative of that. So today we have a guest. Her name is Rasheeda Socolove. And Rasheeda is what I call a serial entrepreneurial, and we'll get
Yep.
into why. She has a lot of different entrepreneurial businesses, and she's done a lot of things in her career. Before I let her speak to you guys and address you, I just want to run down a few of her businesses, and we'll get into what she's done and some of the things that she have accomplished in her life, and we'll deep dive into all that. But this episode is also going to be centered around the elite life and how you can afford one. Did I pronounce that right, Rasheeda?
Mhm.
Okay. And Rasheeda has done some amazing things with her business, and she's going to give us the secret sauce to be able to live that extravagant life while not may not have the funds to be able to live it. So Rasheeda has Sokolove's mainstay company. She's also been in The Elite Life with Rasheeda. So that's on her YouTube. We're going to get into a little bit of that. She currently is doing Die by Fashion Limited,
Yep.
and we're going to get into that. I'm very excited about that. And then she also is from Pittsburgh. She's born and raised, correct?
Yep.
And she has tons of entrepreneurial experiences, tons of businesses. She's also done Mary Kay, so she's dabbled in that area. So all that being said, Rasheeda, I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Is there anything I left off the list of entrepreneurial?
I also am close to getting a license for becoming a stockbroker, an option stockbroker.
Okay.
What else? I do so much.
Yes.
It's like so many things. Well, actually, basically, what to start with is that I went to Maui
Okay.
like 5 years ago. And it was a millionaires conference, and this pretty much changed my life.
Okay.
Like the influence of these millionaires, they taught you certain ways, that secret sauce that we were talking about that nobody knows about, that could actually lead you to financial freedom.
Yes.
Right. So basically, what it is that there's like people that you work for if you are in like an employee self-employed situation,
Right.
that you are basically being used for leverage and you don't even know it. So your talent, skills, and abilities are being used. So that college degree that you got, that you paid for, or whatever, you got to you basically are being used in a way that you don't know that you're being used.
Right.
So I'm trying to do this off top of my head.
So essentially, when you are in that employee state, if we talk about
A
that
job.
that job, that four grid you're referencing,
Yeah.
where there's
Cash
an
flow
employee-
project.
Yes, there's that employee. There is also the business owner who's run by the business, then the business owner, and then the investor. Correct?
Yeah. So like
The
there's
four quadrants.
there's if you could imagine 4 quadrants, and there's a E for the first one, the first left hand corner. That stands for employees. So you have a job, but you're trading hours for money, right?
Right.
So like below that would be the S. That's the self-employed. You have a 1099, and you're still trading hours for money, but you own the job.
Correct.
Right? So like on the opposite side, the right hand top corner, there is a what is it? The B. Yep. So that stands for business owner.
Right.
So what you're doing is paying for leverage, small amounts of money to flip it for large amounts of money,
Right.
right? So you don't have to work for, anybody because you're, the top dog,
Right.
and then you own a system,
Right.
right? So the lower part would be the investor, the lower right hand corner.
Yep.
Yeah. So like that would be the investor. You would once again invest small amounts of money to flip it into large amounts of money.
Right.
So like if we go back to the E, right? The employee, it's a W-2 job and you are living paycheck to paycheck. So after all your debts are paid, you have a zero,
Right.
in your bank account, right?
And
So it's
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but
go ahead.
that ties in perfectly to my previous episode that I just did with my brother, Officer TC, because we did the difference between W-2 and 1099.
1099.
So
I
that
saw
ties
that.
in perfectly. But
Yeah. So like you have your W-2 at the end of the year. Basically your the corporation that you work for owns you. They tell you where to live, how to breathe, how much you can afford to go, have, basically, not a lot of people know this, but you're basically, you do have an option to market yourself.
Right.
That's basically what an interview is,
Right.
and see whether or not, you fit into their, financial budget, right?
No, and so I love what we're about to get into because it speaks to how 95% of the world is, thinking and how we operate. Everyone's taught to go to school, get good grades, and then get that get that job and pay, thousands of dollars in education to be able to live someone else's dream.
Yep.
And so I guess my first question for you would be, at what point in your life did you realize I'm tired of being leveraged and
That's
I'm tired of being, for lack of a better word, what people would consider a pawn to these
exactly.
corporations.
And I got so mad. I forgot one type of job that I was working. Actually, it was a long time ago. I want to say it was like in the 2000s.
Okay.
And these people offered me $8 an hour. I was a temp, and they just talked really, really mean. Like the bottom of their shoe, the gum was more important
Wow.
than me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's what sucks about corporations. You have your tier status.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's very funny because like a lot of people say, oh, there's pyramid schemes out there, this, that, and the other. But if you actually draw the hierarchy of a
Fortune
CEO.
500
Yeah,
company.
exactly. Like you have the CEO at the top, then the VPs, then the mid managers,
Yes.
the entry level, and like it looks like a pyramid.
And honestly, I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people in my network. And one of the things I always ask when I get broached by all the different things that I do, and we both do multiple things in our lanes. I ask, my retort to that is, when will you ever be in your CEO's position?
Whenever he dies.
Well, so here's the thing.
It's possible.
And then what are the odds of that?
Yeah, the VPs are going to take
the odds
it.
are great that he'll pass. What are the odds that your qualifications meet the standard of 500 other people in the organization?
It is very, very low probability that you're going to actually make that type of money.
Right.
It's very low, and everybody covets, and then it turns into like I don't want to curse, but it's a bad show, so to speak, and then like it just it doesn't come together as a unit. Everything is temporary.
Right.
And what actually made me think is that if you see a high turnaround in a company,
Yes.
it's really not good. It
Right.
isn't. Their budgeting is off and all that. All
Correct. And
something's off.
honestly, that speaks to something I did today where social media, I just do a post where like I'm like every year I reevaluate who my employer is, how much I'm making, and not to say that I'm already ready to jump ship from an employer, but it's more or less I want to have that conversation with myself, my wife, or whoever I'm dealing with to make sure that I'm progressing every year. And as we speak to our audience, that's something that I encourage many people to do because a lot of times we say we want X, Y, and Z in our life, big house, big car, all these extravagant things, but yet we are not on the trajectory to ever getting.
See, but there's three things that stop people from jumping to the other side.
Right.
It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Correct.
Exactly. Everybody's scared to take their money and they're like, oh my God, how am I going to eat? How am I going to sleep? What am I going to wear? If you clear your mind out and do that faith jump, literally, like I'm an avid believer in God, God will have your back.
Yes.
And it's just that the biggest thing that worked for me was, literally just faith. Like, I'm tired of this. There has to be something better.
Right.
And that's what I did. I put my foot into a self-employment position. Uber is very popular.
Yeah.
I've been with them ever since they started.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I did leave something off the resume.
Yeah, that too. I do a lot. So yeah, like not only that, I do like I said, I was doing the stockbroking thing with options. I'm about to get into AI with that.
Yes.
Then I have my foot in a little bit of everything, but the employee thing, I don't like jobs. I don't like that.
So let's go back to the beginning of, because I know you've had several degrees that you've gotten through certain universities. I believe you went to Duquesne, Pitt. Just talk about your background as far as educational, and then obviously you've already talked to about what propelled you to want to no longer be in that employee mindset. But just give that foundation of, because you went to Pitt, like you've done that route.
So what I did first, I went to historically black college.
HBCU.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We need more people going to HBCU.
Yeah. So like I went to Lincoln University first.
Lincoln.
Yep. Yes. Oh, I loved it, but I was too young, I think, to actually put my mind to focus on that. So I ended up switching to the University of Pittsburgh. That's where I picked up classes for business and psychology.
Okay.
Right. So eventually, I ended up dropping out of there. Okay. And but I got enough knowledge to I still I keep educating myself over and over, constantly. Yeah. So through that's where I started building my knowledge, demonstrating, through experiences, like how to build a business. Right. So that's basically what I did. I started my first business. It was downtown in downtown Pittsburgh. It was a website business, but it didn't go well because downtown is not the right place for certain business unless you're like a lawyer. Yeah. That's the only thing. That pretty much survives down there. There's a high turnaround down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges that come with being downtown.
So we'll just pass that. We'll gloss over that. Yeah. So like that basically gave me experience for my next one. Okay. The next one was Dye by Fashion. Okay. Yeah. So I love Dye by Fashion. I have What Die by Fashion Limited is an Italian shoe company that I created. And in this shoe company, I created uh, I created uh, a system where I could generate shoes off of software, design them, add fabrics, base model, colors, you name it,
Right.
right? And then what we do is send it off to Italy, which is a manufacturer,
Okay.
and then it drop ships all throughout the world,
Gotcha.
right? So with that, I posted my concepts one day on Instagram, and this place in Soho, Manhattan, contacted me.
Okay.
It was an uh, independent fashion dealer.
Right.
And Soho, for everybody that doesn't know, is the fashion capital of the world. One of them.
Oh yeah.
New York is like the main portal for places all over the world. Everything
Okay.
to
And
do.
Paris as well. Right?
Yeah, Paris,
Okay.
Milan, Italy, Dubai is starting to come one.
Okay.
You know, so once I did that, they said, well, actually, they sent me an email and they were like, Rasheeda, we really like your products. We want to sell your shoes in our store, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, this really happened. Like, this is amazing. So not only that, I started it for a year, and through that year, I did New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
I did Miami Swim Week. I'm about to do Paris in about the end of February.
Okay.
Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just blew up. So, like through there, I got to meet. I actually did some shoots for Crystal Waters. Okay. It's like an old celebrity.
Okay.
100% pure love. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I also got to rub shoulders with Tyra Banks's celebrity stylist.
That's big time.
Yeah. So like it's all about your faith. Right. Once you just like, say forget it, I'm just gonna take that step. It seems like everything just started falling into my lap.
Got you.
You know?
And that's huge because that speaks to the level of character that you bring to the table as an entrepreneur. Because for those who didn't catch it, you failed a couple of times in a few businesses, and it took resilience for you to be able to do another one and do another one, and then find one that hit. Now you hit lightning in a bottle where you're meeting and rubbing elbows with celebrities during fashion week, and that's the level of resilience that people need to have in their mind when they start to think about being an entrepreneur or a business owner, not thinking that first time is going to be a major success.
Yeah, literally, you literally got to go years and years and years without basically making money and having your faith that your dream's going to come through. You just built, like, it didn't happen overnight, but it just started and started and started. I'm like, okay, I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like, something came over me that I had to be in this path. Right. And what blew my mind, Tyler, there was this one lady, and this story was nuts. There was one lady I was Ubering from the airport, and I'm like, this is how big this vision became with Die by Fashion. So the lady, I picked up a lady. Her name was Naughty. She is Amani, New York. Okay. And she is a designer. So I'm talking to her, driving her to her hotel or whatever. And I'm like, so what do you do? Where'd you come from? She's like, I'm from New York. I'm a designer. So I'm like, okay, I'm a designer and I have a contract in New York. Right. And eventually we got to talking and she's like, I design clothes. And I was like, I design shoes. And then I am not kidding you. Like, she was like, what's your Instagram? So I was like, my Instagram is at Die by Fashion Ltd.
Check it out.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So like she looked and she was like, Rasheeda, this is so crazy. She said, my shoes are on this model. No, your shoes are on this model, but my clothes are on this model.
Wow.
Isn't this I was like, what are the odds that I meet you in Pittsburgh? Like, I mean, when synchronicities come, like
Yes.
pay attention to them. You
Yes.
know, I believe in faith, and that's showing you where you need to be.
And honestly, to add to that, because so we move similarly in the way we operate our prospective businesses. So I intentionally network maybe 3 or 4 times a week,
Exactly.
and based on what you just said, you were simply just doing your Uber job, but you still were brave enough to connect and have a conversation. Because I've been in some Ubers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them ain't friendly, or a lot of them's too friendly.
Yeah.
so but you were able to connect with this individual during, and she just happened to be. So for me, it's like you always need to be on display and be on your best, because you never know who's going to cross your path.
Exactly.
Now, had you been rude or mean or any way, shape, or form, you probably blocked your blessing, because now
Exactly.
that person's turned off by you. So it just goes to show you never know who you are going to interact with that can impact you and propel you to greater heights. So
Yep. So
lesson learned.
that's a LLC that I own.
Okay.
So the importance of like versus being a sole proprietor, because I had that nightmare a little bit,
Yes.
and owning your own corporation is that a corporation stands by its own entity.
Yes.
Sole proprietor, it's like, if something happens, a liability,
They
we're
sue
coming
you.
after you.
Your
We're
house
coming
is
after
fair
your
game,
house.
cars, anything you have
Yep,
is
yep.
fair game.
Your children, your organs, you know.
Yep, absolutely. No, and that's huge, because a lot of times I work with a lot of small business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, and they don't think about some of the decisions they're making when they're starting their business. Oh, they say, hey, I want to do a candle business. I want to do a clothing line. I want to do a boutique. And all that's fine and well, but they don't never think about the liability
Liabilities.
aspect. Or when they do think about it, something probably already happened. It's a little too late. So this is just a nugget from two entrepreneurs. Make sure you're thinking about, the pros and the cons before you just start thinking, oh, I'm gonna make a killing with this business, and then you haven't thought about some of the things that go along with running the business. So, with all that being said, my second question: now that you've had success with Die by Fashion, what is some of the things that you have been trying to do to help propel you even further? Because obviously, I know you have the fashion show coming in Paris. What are some things you're doing in preparation to, be more successful with that event and some other things you got going on?
So what I was going to do, number one, is create an association.
Okay.
That way we could bring all this notoriety to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Because like fashion, people could roll out of their beds and not be their outfit day.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of people who want to be like models, journalists, magazine editorials. This could open up a whole nother world.
Right.
That was what I wanted to do with it.
Okay.
Also, buyers. I was going to create like a network of buyers that could come out to my shows
Okay.
and look at my products wholesale.
Okay.
So like that's what Tyra Banks's celebrity stylist she was
Okay.
scouting me for.
Gotcha.
So like yeah. So like I'm learning from
Yeah.
these people.
I got you. No, and truth be told, those are the relationships and connections you need to make, because they can do wonders for you moving forward. So let's kind of tie this back into what we were saying about the 4 quadrants, and how, now you're in that. I want to say that is the right side for business
Business
owner
owner.
and investor.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about how you got to that space, obviously you started multiple businesses, had some fails, had some successes. Now you've reached a point where you're having success. That in between part where it was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out. self doubt, some of the things, trials and tribulations that you may have dealt with.
Oh, there was
Tell us a
some
little bit
dark
about that.
nights. I was crying. I was crying. Like, please, God, oh, don't come take my car.
Right. Yeah.
But what I learned was those dark lessons. Every lesson isn't a bad thing,
Right.
you know. We just associate it. I guess that's how we our perception of it is.
Okay.
But actually they're just lessons. Like,
Right.
okay, Rasheeda, this happened to you. Don't repeat it again. Let's see how we can turn this negative into a positive.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Absolutely.
Take that negative energy, even people who said, oh, you're going to fail. Oh, you're going to do this, or the jealous haters. And I love this thing that I saw. It was a meme on Facebook. It said, haters are nothing but another word for confused admirers.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So, like,
I like that.
I always think about, stuff like that. But literally, my trials and tribulations through all that, like, it actually made me a very strong and confident person.
Right.
I wouldn't take those experiences back for nothing.
Right. No, because true be told, it's truly, sharpen iron sharpens iron, and if it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. I believe in those wholeheartedly because I've been through some things where I'm like, man, I made it out of that, and then that
Mm-hmm.
just boosts me even more to keep
Mm-hmm.
going and keep pushing. So, with that being said, how do you juggle a lot of the different things that you do? So obviously we have Die by Fashions having success. You're talking about getting into the investing game and everything else that comes along with that. Uber, so
Yeah.
a
So,
lot of
like,
different irons. How do you navigate doing everything simultaneously?
what I do, I have I started like a schedule, because at first, like, I was able to juggle everything. Then I started um, outsourcing,
Gotcha.
getting people and it was funny because, like, people, it would just come to me, like, there was this guy, he's like, I don't even want to get paid, but I want to be in that world of fashion.
Hmm.
Like, I want to be your assistant.
Right.
So, like, I put him through, the interview process, the background checks, all that stuff. And
Right.
I talk to him online every now and then,
Okay.
so, like, to update him about certain things, like to
Right.
ease him in gently,
Right.
because this stuff could make you pull a patch of your hair out sometimes. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so, like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do Uber. That's kind of like my bread and butter, and then, like, I'll take money from Uber and then put it into like the brokerage account,
Okay.
and then, like, flip that,
Gotcha.
or, like, I guess that's the bonus for actually having these different hats.
Right.
There's nobody to tell you, you're fired,
Right.
or you could do whatever,
Right.
whenever,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I know for me, because I wear multiple hats as well. Day job, 9 to 5. Then also have my notary business, TC Notary LLC, and then
Mhm.
also do this podcast, Financial Literacy with TC, and then
Mhm.
also have some other endeavors that I'm working on. And a lot of times people ask me on how do I navigate it all, and I say it's basically prioritizing and making my own schedule to the fact that I can get what I need done. I control this podcast, so I control when it airs. I
Mhm.
control my notary business, so I schedule the appointments and times that fit my schedule. So while I believe in making sure that you can focus on your businesses with enough time and emphasis and priority that they need for them to be successful, I also feel that when you have control, you can make sure it'll work for your schedule.
Mhm.
Because also you still have to juggle family and everything else in life. So,
Yeah.
but long if anytime I get asked that question, is basically I'm in control of the things I want to do.
Yeah, it does require a lot of discipline too, because you still got to pay bills.
Right.
You got to make sure this quota is set.
Right.
For this, for your next project, or
Exactly.
there's nobody there to tell you that. So you can be. Some people would. It's not for everybody
Right.
unless like if you're lazy, or I don't know any other words to say about that, or like if you're just like not cut out, if you just did not have it up to here yet,
Right.
and then you're just that comfortable to have somebody else tell you what to do, or
Right.
all that stuff. But it's amazing once you get out of that world. You can look at the bigger picture.
Right.
Of everything that you could actually, the strongest potential that you have to do, because if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
Versus having somebody telling you got to be here, this is how much you're getting paid.
Right.
This is,
And
if
that
you
all
don't.
speaks to a mindset. That's literally the other thing that goes along with being either self-employed or being a W-2 employee versus a business owner or an investor, is that mindset that no matter what, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that this gets accomplished, this gets done. And if you don't have that mindset, yeah, you'll use every excuse in the book to
Yeah.
not get things done.
Yeah,
So,
and I hate excuses. I really do, because they really stop you. They do. It's a mind thing, just like you were saying.
right.
Like, yeah. So, like, not only that, I did want to talk about like other ways to get money. Like, investing doesn't necessarily have to do with the stock market. You could go to thrift stores, pick up antiques, resell them. I literally just saw an article on Google that they said that people are the VHS tapes for Disney.
Okay.
They're going for like $5,000 to $14,000.
Hold on now. I
The
know.
VHS tapes.
Hold on now. My grandmama got some VHS.
Look, I was calling people like
Oh, you got me.
You got some VHS tapes. They said that
we had
cars.
those mini collections back in the day.
Yeah, Black Diamond edition goes for the highest. Yeah, like this lady taught me that. Like antiques, like this lady, she estate sales, like Eddie Murphy. Oh my gosh. Eddie Murphy, he was on a Jimmy Kimmel show, and that old picture on Good Times of Marvin Gaye's it was like the album.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy said that the one on Good Times, the photo, I think it's like of people dancing or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Okay. So like the copy went for $12 million. The copy on Good Times. Guess who had the original? Eddie Murphy. The copy went for $12 million.
What the original was going for.
Oh my gosh, everybody was silent. Like, and he was like, back then when Marvin Gaye passed away.
God rest his soul.
Yeah. When he passed away, he went to his estate sale and got it for $50,000. So artwork, like they have even subscriptions to artwork. You don't even have to buy the thing. You don't have to buy the art. You have shares of it. So whenever it goes, on auction, you get a percentage back of how much that is. So you don't even have to afford.
Yeah.
That's called masterworks.
Oh yeah. And I mean, if you I pay attention to industries, and nowadays you can make money in so many different ways. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's really just, are you putting time in to think about all the things you can do? Or, but most people, like we said, and we just keep going back to this point, their mindset is so brainwashed to believe you can only make money one way. And those people who are thinking outside the box, being creative, looking into, share of sales and investing and doing different things with social
You have no
media.
idea. Like,
There's so many, so many things that people are using their brain power. And I'll be honest, it's more of, because I'll be honest, my target audience is the Black community.
hmm
When I don't see us using our brain power to start thinking about different ways that we can enhance our lives monetarily, for the community, etc., that poses a problem, because you just laid out a few ways you can make money. I'm pretty sure people got VHS tapes in their basement, or
somebody got them,
yeah.
auntie, grandma,
You could
somebody.
easily go, find ways to sell those on eBay or all these other
Yep.
platforms to make money. But yet we're too worried about celebrities
I
and what they
think,
got going on.
and that's what I think. People comparing each other to each other,
Right,
they feel inferior.
right,
So like that messes with your mindset, you know.
definitely.
For years, the media said, black people were inferior, or, like all the, and I done away with the media.
Right.
Like I don't watch TV.
Mm.
I watch every morning. I meditate and do gratitude affirmations. The golden hour. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm.
Yeah. So like the first 30 minutes that you wake up and the first 30 minutes before you go
Go to
to
bed.
sleep,
Yep.
that's where you need to, meditate and all that stuff. Because like what your brain does is like, I guess basically it programs itself for how it's your whole day is going to go based off that first or last 30 minutes.
Right.
So you want to fill it up with positive things,
Right. And that's why I always had an issue with people say I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Because I'm like, hold up. When I wake up, no matter what side of the bed I roll out of, I'm looking to have a positive mindset.
Yeah.
However that looks for certain people.
Whatever you speak manifests.
Right. So yeah, I'm like,
You speak, what is it? A thought enters your head, and then it turns into a belief,
right,
and then you speak it, and then you go hold it in your hand, like through action.
right,
That's
absolutely.
how I did it.
Yep.
And also, what I did want to mention was through Miami Swim Week with Die by Fashion.
Okay.
Um, I'm about to get like through there. Well, actually, the company is called Flying Solo up in New York City.
Mm.
Through them, I got 50 different magazine editorials all over the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like Harper's Bazaar picked me up,
Okay.
Elle Magazine, Elle Official. Um, it was just so funny. It was like a domino effect, and I never doubted. Like I was like, okay, and fear is a delusion to me.
Right.
Whenever you have fear, it's just, it stops you. It's a
Right.
negative emotion, so you just override it and keep it pushing.
Gotcha.
You know.
No, that's huge. Yeah. So with that being said, uh, advice for individuals in, who have aspirations on being an entrepreneur or starting a business, because a lot of times I pay attention to what's being on Facebook when people are asking about, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't know where to start. I need a business plan, but I don't know where to start. Any advice? I mean, you kind of just gave some right there, but any specific advice toward those individuals who want to take that jump or leap, but fear is, the three things you said that prevent people from
Yeah.
doing so.
So like what I did, I sat down and I wrote down what I'm good at. So like actually I didn't write it down. And really it's better to write it down.
Right.
I think it is.
So you can see it.
Yeah, so you can see it, you have vision, But everybody has like a Michael Jordan type of talent. They just have to find it.
Right. I
You
like
know?
that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. Like, you everybody do what you love,
Right.
so that you can have that, push to get up every day and smile, get out of bed and like, okay, let's get back to, doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's really fun. Then, like, if you have kids, they'll copy you.
Right.
They'll, incorporate, okay, my mom's this, that, and the other, Like, I took my kids, I took my one daughter to the Grammys. Yeah, so like I did like a little dabbling into business, music management.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was trying to get
I
the
knew
guy
you had
to,
stuff on the resume.
yeah, yeah. So I was trying to get this guy,
Yeah.
like a deal or whatever, but I rubbed shoulders through there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just you have to have the confidence. Don't compare yourself to another person. I don't care who they are.
Right.
Like they could be like Michael Jordan, they could be anybody, but that same person is living and breathing just like you are.
Right.
Don't say, oh, oh my God, like you're a king and I'm a peasant type. Like don't
You can't look at things
don't do
in that
that.
lens. Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they hold their minds in a sense of hierarchy over somebody,
Right.
or under somebody, or
Yeah.
But you can
And I
miss your
just think
blessings like
that has
that.
a lot to do with society as where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we can spend a lot of time on something like that. So how can individuals find you, follow you? Obviously, I was excited to see your YouTube channel. Hasn't been much activity lately. Do you still
Yeah,
do
I
it?
don't really do it.
Okay.
I've just been juggling so many hats,
Yeah.
So I'll eventually get back to that.
Well, I'll let you let everyone know how they can connect with
Okay.
you. Obviously, the website.
Yeah, so the website Die by Fashion Limited. No, I'm sorry, diebyfashionitaly.com. I'm on Instagram. You can really reach me on Instagram. That's like the main part that I actually go and talk to people. It's at Die by Fashion Ltd.
Okay.
That's Dieby Fashion Ltd. You can look at some of my videos on YouTube. All you got to do is type in my name. It's Rasheeda, Rasheeda Socolove, Socolove.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you put that in the search engine, my channel will come up.
Yeah.
It's called The Elite Life. So,
And I've actually been on your page, and I enjoyed the shoes I saw. I was like, "Ooh, my wife would love this."
yeah, yeah.
And
And literally, you'd be the only ones wearing them. The only one. Like,
and
I have someone now. Like,
oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, honestly, because we go to a lot of events. We rub elbows with a lot of people, and she's always getting compliments on how well she dressed.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure I continue to help her keep that persona.
Yeah.
So if I gotta get her some shoes that I know is one of a kind in our city, at least,
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem doing so. So definitely, check out the website, check out Rasheeda. She's definitely on Facebook, or connect with me, Financial Literacy with TC. You can check with me on my platforms, the YouTube channel, uh, Financial Literacy with TC on YouTube, and you could just connect and make sure you go out and support and get on the website and see what you like. It's Christmas time.
Amen.
If you haven't gotten gifts yet, And,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I also have an Etsy store.
Oh, okay.
My Etsy store is Die by Fashion Store. Yeah. That's another outlet that I use. I also have Gift Shop by Socolove.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more Christmassy,
Yeah.
beauty products, cozy at home,
Right.
home living
No,
stuff.
and truth be told, I'm a huge supporter of small black businesses. I like to support minority, especially minority women businesses. So if you're someone like me and you want to support small black women business, minority businesses, then be intentional about it. Before I go run to jump at the big name brand stores, I see individuals like Rasheeda, other individuals out in the community who have amazing products, candles, everything from clothing, and I go try to connect with them first. Jewelry, and I'd be intentional about it. And 2023 was the year that I wanted to make sure I was intentional about supporting minority women businesses, supporting small black businesses primarily, and I did. We did pretty good. And next year I'll be even more intentional about doing it. So I appreciate Rasheeda taking the time to be on the podcast. One, to share her thoughts in helping entrepreneurs understand that jump between a W 2 employee, 1099 contractor, self employed business owner to getting onto that other side of the quadrant, which is business owner, where you're a system. Also, getting into that investment side, because when we talk about generational wealth in the community, we all have aspirations, but we don't tangibly talk about how we can get it accomplished. And then I just appreciate you taking the time to not only educate people, but let people know about what you got going on. And any last words you want to say to the
You can
listeners?
reach me. My email is rsocolove159 at gmail.com with anything. One last thing, Sokolove Mainstay was an Airbnb company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm starting that up too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just,
See,
like, I just want generational wealth. That's
absolutely.
all. That's
Hey,
all.
hey, that's hey. What
A
I
lot of
love,
stuff going on
what I,
autopilot.
what I love about it is you're doing your thing, and you're not afraid, and you're going out there and changing the life of you and your family, and that's all I ask of anybody that I interact with. 9 times out of 10, I'm doing the same. So when I get with somebody who's doing it either on the level I am or above me, I just want to share the love and help us win. So
I really appreciate that.
oh,
I
absolutely.
really do.
Well, all right, guys, this is Financial Literacy with TC. This has been episode 15. You have it, Rasheeda Socolove. She gave us some great information. Please jump on the YouTube channel and subscribe. Please jump on Spotify, subscribe, and listen to all this great content that I'm trying to bring you. And again, as always, I appreciate you joining Financial Literacy with TC. We'll see you next week for next week's episode. Thank you.